Here we go now.
Hello, Legalites! I am Ange Medina and you are watching Legal Life, the boldest legal magazine show online. Dito lang sa The Bolder Channel. Welcome back to the program, Legalites. Dito sa Legal Life, pag-uusapan natin ang mga mahalaga at napapanahong legal issues at makikilala natin ang iba't ibang personalidad at character ng ating mga legal professionals. Be informed, be inspired sa kanilang mga kwento. To hire employees or to engage independent contractors? Yan ang tanong. The decision regarding which type of worker is right for your business depends, of course, to the business owners and its managers. Pero gaano nga ba kaprotektado ang ating mga independent contractors at ang kanilang mga clients? Yan ang ating tatalakayin tonight. Joining us is Attorney Mark Aldrin Bantigue, legal partner at the De Ramos and Bantigue Law Office. Good evening, Attorney Mark.
Good evening, Attorney Ange. Hello.
Yes. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good. Okay naman.
Kamusta ang legal practice ngayong pandemic? Okay naman?
Slower. Siyempre, may mga hindi masyadong open ang mga government offices, ang courts. But generally, okay naman tayo.
Wow, that's good to hear, ano. So, let's proceed. We only have 30 minutes and I think madami kang ma-share talaga sa atin regarding this our topic, which is legal matters concerning independent contractors. So, ready na, Attorney Mark? Start na tayo?
Okay, sige, ready.
Okay. Attorney Mark, we I've been mentioning independent contractor, 'di ba? And lagi nating maririnig yung term na contractor sa mga construction
Mm-mm.
services, 'di ba? Yun yung ating akala, yun yung independent contractor. Pero ano nga ba talaga ang independent contractor?
Okay. So, siguro ngayon, um, dahil sa technology, meron niyang new meaning ang independent contractors, and I think that's what we can discuss today. They're also referred to as freelancers. So on my own definition, kasi wala po tayong definition for independent contractors under the law currently, okay? But independent contractors, they generally refer to those self-employed person, and they provide work, they perform work, provide services to to a hiring party as a non-employee. So hindi po sila mga empleyado. Pero they do their work or they provide services according to their own methods, and also without being subjected to the control of the hiring party as to the results of their work. So basically, independent contractors, ito yung mga kilala natin as freelancers, writers, artists, actors, yan, photographers, they can be classified as independent contractors, licensed professionals, lawyers, yan, accountants, architects, yung mga ganyan.
So
Generally,
those
they
are
can
the
be classified. Yes.
So those are the common examples of independent contractors. And yung nabanggit mo ngang term, baka mas familiar yung ating mga listeners doon sa term na freelancer, 'di ba?
Yes,
Kasi
oo.
oo, sa language natin and with the technology now, the term freelancer is yung laging nagagamit. So,
Yes, yan ang uso ngayon.
yes, so included dito actors, models, tama?
Yes, oo. So, actors, lawyers, medyo magka-level pala sila as freelancers.
Wow, oo nga. So, level pala tayo sa classification na yun ng mga independent contractor. So, thank you, Attorney Mark. At least now we have yung malinaw sa ating mga viewers kung ano ang independent contractors and they have their basis on assessing whether considered ba sila as independent contractor. But by your definition, yung iyong shinare mo sa amin na definition, independent contractor is different from an employee. So what's the
Yes,
difference
oo.
between the two?
Well, okay. Independent contractors, basically, with respect to the benefits, okay? Let's differentiate. Ang independent contractor, yung rights nila, yung benefits nila for the services that they perform, yung work na ginagawa nila, compensated according to a contract or agreement. So that is the contract or agreement between the independent contractor and the hiring party. Okay? So generally ganoon. With respect to an employee, 'di ba? Ang employee, ang rights niyan provided number one under the contract, and may additional silang rights na provided under the labor code for employees. Kasama na rin diyan syempre yung other laws, yung mga benefits na pinoprovide ng ating batas para sa mga empleyado. Marami po 'yan. Yung SSS, mga premium contributions 'yan, okay? So, meron pa, ano pa bang mga pinagkaiba nila? Yung
What you've mentioned are the differences based on rights and benefits.
yes,
'Di ba? Sa
oo.
pagkakaintindi ko, parang kapag empleyado ka, there are more benefits kung sakali like SSS, yung PhilHealth, Pag-ibig, which are mandatory na benefits for an employee. But for an independent contractor, itong mga benefits na to, Attorney Mark, unless of course it's included doon sa kanilang independent contractor agreement, siguro, hindi to talagang mandatory na ibibigay yon ng client sa independent contractor. Tama ba?
Yes, ang independent contractor, wala talaga silang benefits under the labor law. So, as an independent contractor, you have to pay yung premium contributions mo on your own. Okay, so yung employees kasi, meron silang rights, sabi ko nga, under the law, and para sa kanila, meron silang employer, and the employers are the one who pay for that.
So
Yun.
aside from these rights, benefits, Attorney Mark, what are the other major differences between that of an independent contractor and that of an employee?
Okay, so I guess yung nature of work nila is very different. Generally, ang independent contractors or freelancers, they are not subject to the control of their employer. So, kung titignan mo, yung mga freelancers natin, hindi sila nadidiktahan kung ano yung work nila na ginagawa. Kunwari, nag-hire ako ng photographer, kaya gusto ko ng ganito sa wedding ko. Hindi mo naman makokontrol yung mga kailangan niyang gawin. Unlike sa employee na nagtatrabaho, sasabihin ni mismong employer niya kung ano yung dapat niyang gawin at nakokontrol niya yun, pwede niya ring i-cancel, pwede niya ring palitan, basically. Sa independent contractor, hindi ganon. Isa pang important difference siguro yung term or termination ng contract ng isang independent contractor can be provided under the contract. It can be terminated based on the contract. So kahit na anong reason, pwede siyang gawin. Ngayon, ang mga empleyado po, ang employees, they are generally entitled to a security of tenure. Hindi mo sila basta-bastang pwedeng tanggalin except for just or authorized causes which is provided by law.
Oh, so kung ikaw ang independent contractor, pwedeng i-terminate yung services mo basta within the bounds of the contract na pinirmahan nyo prior the relationship as independent contractor and the client. Pero kapag empleyado ka, you have additional, parang ang term natin dyan, security of tenure, di ba? And matatanggal ka lang ng iyong employer based on the grounds, nakalista na yung grounds. Kung yung ground sa labor code. So kung yung ground na ginamit sa pagpapaalis sa'yo is not among the grounds for termination na provided sa labor code, what would that entail, Attorney Mark, kung empleyado ang pinag-uusapan?
Yes, basically kung independent contractor ka, tinanggal ka because late ka isang beses, kung hindi yan provided under the contract, wala ka namang magagawa doon. Wala ka namang right under the contract. Pero ang mga empleyado, kung late ka lang isang beses, not necessarily pwede ka nilang tanggalin. So, kapag tinanggal ka because of that, pwede po kayong mag-file ng kaso sa kanila for illegal dismissal.
Oh, okay. So, kapag hindi there was no ground for the termination of your employment, pwedeng mag-file yung employee ng illegal dismissal, diba? Or violation of the labor code. Okay. Yung term mo on the independent contractor, we mentioned freelancer, kadalasan tong mga to, and that they have control over their work. So kadalasan ang nire-render na service ng mga independent contractors are their creative work, tama? Kasi kung photographers, tapos models and actors, 'di ba? More of yung creative work.
Ito yung mga common nating kilala na ginagawa ng freelancers, yung creative work, but also highly technical, siguro yung mga skilled work, highly technical work for kunwari IT professionals. And again, I've mentioned yung mga licensed professionals such as lawyers, accountants. Basically, yung mga those who are involved in the practice of their profession na sarili nila and they're not employed under a company or a corporation, ganyan.
Yan. Thank you, Attorney Mark. Ngayon, malinaw na yung difference between an independent contractor and that of an employee. Now, let me proceed to my next question. I know as a lawyer, you get a lot of inquiries from clients. Tatanungin ka nila, attorney, ano nga ba ang may-recommend mo? Is it better for me to enter into an independent contractor client relationship or mag-employer-employee relationship na lang? What's your advice to your clients kapag ganito?
Depende kasi una muna, sino ba ang nanghihingi ng advice? Is it the independent contractor or the hiring party, the business looking to hire an independent contractor or an employee? Okay, so siguro there is really no standard, but you have to consider the needs of the parties. Okay, so kung yung kailangan mo nung mga parties highly technical and is not related to the business of the employer, mas maganda siguro na mag-hire ka ng independent contractor for that. And ngayon, bilang ikaw naman, independent contractor, you can also choose na maging independent contractor instead of an employee because generally, they can demand higher fees or higher compensation based on their contracts. Now, yung employees, as I've said, may stability ka dahil meron kang security of tenure, meron kang rights provided under the labor code. So, that's something that you can look into, di ba?
Yeah, so kung gusto mo ng security of tenure, tapos yung papasok ka within a certain hours lang in a day and gusto mo ng monthly talaga ikaw ay kumikita, it's better kung yun yung priority mo, you go with that employer-employee relationship. But if you want na hindi ka limited, 'di ba, ng pagbibigyan ng iyong serbisyo, you go for an independent contractor relationship. Okay,
Yes.
thank you for that, Attorney Mark. So I think you've answered this earlier, but para lang for emphasis, yung relationship between an independent contractor and the client is covered by the labor code or no? Independent
No,
contractor and the client, no. Okay.
yes, hindi. Generally, ang independent contractor, covered yan ng contract or agreement between them. So, sa kanilang dalawa, kung ano po yung laman ng kontrata, that's it. So, under our laws, ang mag-govern po dyan ay law on obligations and contracts.
So kung gusto nilang malaman yung kanilang rights, benefits, and remedies, balikan nila yung kanilang independent contractor agreement. Kasi
Yes,
nandun
oo.
nila
Nandun
makikita.
na. Andun na yun.
Yes. Attorney Mark, kung 'di ba, what are the benefits and the limitations naman in entering into an independent contractor agreement?
Oh, okay. For benefits, I would say dahil nga din sa nature ng work ng freelancers, independent contractors, generally, they can demand higher compensation. Okay? So, tapos yung siguro flexible yung term ng contract or term na kailan mo kailangan mag-work. Hindi kagaya ng employee, they are generally retained to work at the office for a set period of time, 9 to 5, 8, ganyan. Pero ang independent contractor, pwedeng walang set hours, pwedeng kahit kailan mo siya gawin. Pwede ring na for 1 day lang, pwede ring for 2 hours lang, ganyan. So, yun yung pinagkaiba, okay? Tapos, siguro, pinakamaganda dito yung regarding the work product. For employees, of course, you will always have your supervisor, your manager.
Yes.
It's basically the company controlling your work. So, kasama ka sa training, tapos subject ka pa sa QA nila, ganyan, everything. Ngayon, ang independent contractor, sabi ko nga kanina, employers or the hiring party does not have any control with respect to the work performed and also the means and method or na ginagawa nila yung kanilang trabaho.
So what I get from your enumeration ng list of benefits ng entering into an independent contractor agreement is that if ikaw gusto mo ng more leeway in the creation of a work, it's better to enter in an independent contractor agreement kasi ikaw yung may control doon sa work mo, 'di ba? Lahat ng creative juices mo pwede mong i-pour doon
Yes,
sa
oo.
work mo. Oo. Kapag
Siguro
empleyado ka,
siguro if you are new to the work that you are doing, it would be good to be an employee kasi you will have a boss or a manager, supervisor na
yes.
that can mentor you, that can teach you, you know, the ropes. But if you're established or you know what you're doing, mas maganda yung maging independent contractor ka siguro.
Yes, that's a good. Ngayon ko lang na-realize nga yan. That's one of the benefits in
Pareho tayo, ngayon
entering.
ko lang din na-realize.
Oo. na employer-employee relationship, 'di ba? Would be
Oo.
meron kang boss that would correct you kung sakaling may mali doon sa
Yes.
ginagawa mo. They're supervising you, they're monitoring your work, they have control over your work para pagandahin yung work mo. So kung nag-uumpisa ka pa lang, better have a boss who would mentor you, 'di ba? Ngayon
Yes.
lang natin na-realize na dalawa yon.
Oo.
Ay, nako. Okay, thank you, Attorney Mark, for that. We're halfway sa ating conversation. Baka meron kang gustong batiin, di ba? Bago tayo mag-continue, baka may gusto kang batiin, friends, family, or
Ay, pwede
fans.
bang bumati? Okay.
Of course,
Sige,
Attorney Mark.
babati sana ako sa mga kaibigan ko. Of course, number one, ang ating butihing mayor po ng Olonga po, si Mayor Len J. Paulino. At yung aking magaling na kaibigan na the Regulatory Affairs Manager ng Smart Philippines, si Attorney Kenneth Regañon. Yan.
So, hello sa iyong mga friends, kay Mayor
Oo.
Paulino at kay Attorney Kenneth Regañon of
Opo.
Smart. Tama?
Dapat nanonood sila ngayon, kasi
Oo.
gusto nilang maging freelancer o kaya mag-hire ng freelancers.
Hindi ko natatanungin kung anong klaseng serbisyo ang gusto nilang iibigay, basta they want to be freelancers. All right, so hello to the friends of Mark, who I think would be my friends too, di ba? Okay, let's move on sa ating conversation, Mark. Ngayon pupunta na tayo doon sa isang mahalagang topic, I think, kasi we've been talking about an independent contractor agreement, at kapag employer-employee relationship, meron din namang employment agreement yan, diba? But let's stick with the independent contractor agreement. So what is the consequence of breaking an independent contractor agreement? Let's go first sa part ng independent contractor. For example, failure to deliver the work, 'di ba? Ano yung magiging remedy ng client sa ganitong sitwasyon?
Basically, as an independent contractor, again, governed by contract. So, kung hindi po tayo nakatupad dun sa kontrata, we could be held liable for breach of contract. Okay? So, kung ikaw po yung hiring party, pwede naman po tayong, meron naman po tayong provided na remedies under the law, even if hindi ito provided under the contract. So, number one, kung ano yung nakalagay mismo sa kontrata, like for example, if the freelancer or the independent contractor was not able to perform this service or this work, I would suggest na dapat yung contract already provides for the remedies po ng ating hiring party. Now, kung wala po yan, pwede naman po tayong mag-refer sa ating civil code, okay? Meron po tayong actions for specific performance. Yun po yung ipapagawa natin sa kanila, yung hindi nila nagawa. Of course, that could also mean action for damages kung hindi naman capable na magawa na nitong si independent contractor. Likewise, pwede rin po for work na kunwari sabihin natin architect or engineers, mga ganyan, at nasira niya yung bahay ninyo or kung ano man yung pinapagawa, kung pwede pang ayusin or ibalik sa dati, pwede rin po tayo na action for rescission, ganyan. Kumbaga, ibabalik na kayo sa sitwasyon nyo bago kayo nag-enter sa contract at bago ginawa yung trabaho. And for that, there's also, damages na pwede pong ma-avail ng hiring party kung hindi natupad yung mga work na kailangan sa contract.
Pero paano, Attorney Mark, pag hindi na pwede yung specific performance, di ba? Ayaw talaga ng independent contractor na gawin yung serbisyo na pinag-usapan nung umpisa. Pwede bang kung sakaling nakapagbayad na yung kliyente, in addition to the damages, pwede pa naman niyang kunin, di ba? Yung kanyang binayad.
Oo, syempre kung ayaw niyang gawin, dapat siguro ipakulong na yan. Hindi, joke lang. Hindi natin sila ipapakulong. Wala pong kulong dito. Lahat ito ay contract lang. Yes, oo. Syempre nagbayad ka, ibabalik yun sa'yo. At dahil nga hindi niya nagawa, you may have suffered monetary expenses, and lahat ng value noon, pati yung value na nawala sa'yo, can be recovered from the independent contractor. Vice versa, kung ikaw yung independent contractor at hindi ka binayaran, ganun din, pwede mo siyang singilin para doon sa trabaho na ginawa mo na.
Oh, so yun din, damages, kung nagbigay ka ng trabaho, you have the right na hingin doon sa kliyente mo yung tamang bayad for the work that you've given, in addition doon sa damages kung sakaling nagkaroon ng violation ng inyong contract, tama. And of course, kung
Yes.
talagang nagloko din, Attorney Mark, no, yung kliyente o kaya yung independent contractor, pwede ding magkaroon ng criminal case, baka estafa kung sakali, but it's a different, medyo malayo ng usapan.
Oo, medyo, ang gusto kong sabihin, the general rule, because kontrata po yung pinag-uusapan, civil liability lamang po ito, bayaran lamang po ng pera. Pero syempre, kung meron kayong ginawang mga bagay na under our laws, criminal law, revised penal code po, pwedeng ma-classify as crimes, syempre, pwede ka pa rin makulong. Pero ibang matter naman po yun.
Okay, yes, ibang matter. Okay, we've been talking about civil cases and even probability ng criminal case and mga kontrata, 'di ba? And kadalasan pag ito ang pinag-uusapan, pumapasok na ang abogado. So Attorney Mark, I will ask you for the benefit of our audience, at what stage do they need to consult a lawyer in relation to an independent contractor agreement?
Siguro para sa akin po, if you are a freelancer or you are self-employed, an independent contractor looking to enter into a contract, you have to consult a lawyer beforehand. Okay? Kasi sabi ko nga, ang batas sa inyo is the contract. And it's important na yung contract mo ma-review ng abogado para ma-determine mo kung yung rights ko ba ay kumpleto dito. Kapag ginawa ko na yung trabaho ko and then hindi niya nagustuhan, kailangan ko bang ulitin? Those are terms na you can provide under the contract. Kung hindi sila nagbayad, how do you go against them? Magkano yung kailangan mong singilin? Ganyan. So, ang advice ko is, before, siguro have a lawyer review your contract. If you provide these services on a recurring basis, ask for a contract to draft a standard agreement na pwedeng palit-palitan between you and the hiring party. So yun, I guess that's what I would advise.
Yes. So lalong-lalo na kung may business ka talaga, and as tulad nga ng sabi ni Attorney Mark, if you regularly get the services of independent contractors, better na lumapit ka na sa abogado, 'di ba? Pagawa ka na ng template sa kanya para masigurado mo that protected ka doon sa independent contractor agreement na papasukan mo. And that's the same for kasi client yun meron na siyang template. For the independent contractor also, better na ipa-review mo din sa abogado yung independent contractor na papasukin mo, especially kapag malaking halaga talaga yung, or compensation talaga yung pinag-uusapan.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Attorney Mark, for that concise explanation kung kailan nga ba dapat lumapit sa abogado. 'Diba? Para maiwasan din yung mga legal issues in the future, 'di ba? Or
Yes,
kaya
oo.
palagay ka na protected ang
Oo.
iyong rights. Okay. Are there instances naman ng independent contractor subsequently na biglang naka-classify na as employee, 'di ba? For example, meron yung mga I've read instances, I've read and heard instances na isang independent contractor, after ilang months, sasabihin niya, hindi ako independent contractor. Empleyado mo na ako kasi ang tagal mo nang kinukuha yung aking serbisyo, di ba? Are there instances really that an independent contractor is really a employee pala?
Yes, oo. Kasi ang sinabi ko nga, 'di ba, Attorney Ange, yung independent contractors, they are not subject to the control of the employer. So, meron po tayo sa batas niyan na ginagamit na standard para ma-determine kung sino ba yung empleyado at sino ba yung independent contractor, okay? So, ang empleyado, yan yung pagbabayad ng sweldo niya, pwede siyang tanggalin ng employer niya, at saka yung fact na the employer has the right to control and in fact can control, hindi pala in fact, kumbaga meron lang siyang right or the employer reserves the right to control yung work nitong empleyado, how he makes the work, and ano yung mismong work product. Kapag ganoon po yung nature ng relationship ninyo, even if you have an independent contractor agreement, you may be considered an employee of the hiring party or of the employer. So in that case, makakabuti rin siguro yon para sa iyo bilang independent contractor, since you are acting as an employee o on the guise of being an independent contractor. You are also provided benefits under the labor code.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Attorney Mark, for clarifying that for us and for our audience. So, paano naman, Attorney Mark, if our legalites would like to consult you in order to engage your services, how can they contact you?
Email. I'm available po. Email na lang po siguro.
Yeah, so your law office is in, asan yung inyong law office?
Okay. Yung law office ko sa Santa Lucia East Mall po, sa may Cainta Rizal. And yan, may email po tayo. You can send us your concern, or kung nandito kayo within the vicinity, punta lang kayo sa office.
Oo nga, no? That's your office is in a mall, very accessible also. But syempre, pandemic, 'di ba? Kung tayo i-email muna, 'di ba? At para makasigurado din kayo na may makakausap kayong abogado pagpunta niyo dun sa office ni Attorney Mark. Ayun. So may gusto ka pa bang batiin, Attorney Mark, aside from your friends?
Meron pa pero hindi ko maalala ngayon eh.
Okay,
hindi ako
sige.
naglista, Attorney Ange.
Oy, di siya naglista, of course. Ayun. So, hello na lang sa mga friends and families, of course, of Attorney Marks, and also to our batchmates sa San Beda, di ba? I'm sure I've seen a lot who are watching.
May naalala na pala ako.
Sige, go.
Yung aking mga kaibigan na Jamich, yan. Tapos, yung mga kaibigan pa po natin, sila attorneys sa Claire Buliat, Minette Shoson, and Nikki Bernales.
Ayun, hello sa inyo. Those are also my friends and acquaintances, of course. Hi, thank you for watching. And thank you, Mark, again. Salamat ha, despite your busy schedule na pagbigyan mo kami dito. Okay, so there you go, legalites. If you need the assistance of Attorney Mark, please take note of his contact information na naka-flash po sa inyong screen, and very accessible yung kanyang office, diba, nasa mall. So, thanks again, Mark, for sharing your time with us, and Legal Life will be right back. Don't go away.
With PasaJob, di lang mag-apply ang pwede mong gawin. Pwede ka rin mag-refer ng friend for a chance to get paid. That's right! PasaJob rewards you for connecting employers to the right candidates. So apply, refer, get paid with PasaJob. Hassle maghanap ng trabaho, pero sa app na to, lagi kang panalo. Nakatulong ka na, may reward ka pa. Sali ka na! Download the app to pass a job, help a friend, get a reward.
So ayun po, nagbabalik ang Legal Life. But before we continue, let's give shout-outs po sa ating mga viewers. Oh, and first and foremost, I would like to say hi sa aking mga office mates. I see here Attorney Posh and Attorney Jel who are watching right now. Hello also to Attorney Denise Francisco who is watching, and to Uncle Rani Posadas who referred our show sa kanyang mga kakilala na independent contractors also, because this topic talaga today is to inform independent contractors of their rights and benefits under the law at kung ano ba ang law talaga na nag-a-apply sa kanila. And of course, hello to Amy Bantigue, the wife of our guest kanina, Attorney Mark. Hi, Amy. And hello to my family also. Oh, lahat sila halos nanonood. I see it from here. And to my students sa University of Caloocan City Property Law class. Hello. Thank you for watching. Okay. So, Legalites, kulang ang next 30 minutes natin to catch up with our next very important guest. But we are so honored na pinagbigyan niya tayo for this brief conversation despite demanding schedule both in personal and professional life. So let us welcome the Director and Chief Legal Counsel of Softcap Partners Private Equity, a law professor at San Beda University Graduate Law School, and columnist at Philippine Star and Tatler Philippines Magazine. Ladies and gentlemen, former Undersecretary Attorney Karen Jimeno.
Hi, Ange. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me today. And good evening to everyone watching and listening to us.
Yes, good evening, Attorney Karen. It's our privilege to have you here. And I can't really wait to ask questions so that we get to know you. But before that, how are you po tonight?
I'm doing well, juggling everything, work and also a baby. So I have a 1-month-old baby, and but I didn't do maternity leave. So now I understand why it's mandated by law. So it's been challenging juggling both, but very happy. Yeah.
Wow, congratulations on motherhood pala. So you have a 1-month-old baby. And I'm a follower of your Instagram account, and I saw nga na mukhang hindi ka nga nag-avail ng yung maternity leave, Attorney Karen, because you were at the office, tama? You posted
Yes.
earlier ba?
Yeah, yes.
Ayun.
So back to work full time. And I even remember the day after I gave birth, um, I was attending a Zoom meeting na, but I wasn't present on camera, but I was already like attending and listening to the meeting. So I think that wouldn't have been possible kung walang pandemic, because
Mhm.
people would be meeting physically in person, and imposible namang makalabas ako dun sa hospital bed. So to that extent, medyo nakatulong yung pandemic na makapagtuloy-tuloy ako sa trabaho.
Yes. So I see that the work from home setup kahit papano it helps us juggle between our personal life and yung ating professional life kahit papano. Ang observation ko nga lagi is that nakatipid tayo sa traffic. Ngayong
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I think that
pandemic.
for me, with the pandemic, mas may work-life balance kasi dati yung time na nauubos sa traffic, nabawasan. Yeah. And yung
Yes.
pagtalon from one meeting to another, mas mabilis.
Oo, ngayon one click na lang sa computer di ba? What's your next Zoom or Webex or kung anong gagamiting platform. So as I said earlier, I think kulang ang 30 minutes for us to get to know you more at madami kaming pinrepare na questions so that our legalites, lawyers, and yung ating mga law students would get to know you and be inspired by your stories and work. I'll proceed with my first question, Attorney Karen. Kung tama ang research ng aming research team, you come from a family of lawyers, tama po?
Yes, tama. All the way up to my great-grandfather, pati sa mga uncles and cousins, pati yung mga cousins ko na nasa abroad, yung mga nasa Canada, Australia, mga lawyers din. So, yun yung
Wow.
main profession sa pamilya namin, lawyers, doctors, engineers. Pero particularly my family, both my parents are lawyers, my sister is a lawyer, so maraming lawyers sa family.
Wow, so both your parents are lawyers and I know may benefit yung pagkakaroon ng parents na lawyers. But what's the scariest and the most challenging part naman of having lawyer parents, and what's the most important lessons that you've learned from them?
I would say having parents and lawyers means that the way they converse with you would be talking to a lawyer as well. So pati yung pagbata ka pa, like, pag meron kang pinapaalam, yung interrogation nila parang lawyer talaga. Very thorough. Yung reasoning, matitest nila because they ask very logical questions. So pag may nagpapaalam ako, and as kids, you can be unreasonable. Tatanungin nila, bakit mo gusto yan? And ano yung, hindi mo ba naisip yung consequence yan? Yung ganun. So, but the good thing is, the non-scary part is if you get into trouble, like, even yung dati for me, the first time I learned how to drive, bago pa lang yung license ko, and I ran into another car and it was my fault. Having lawyers as parents gives you comfort because their advice is correct. And you can easily call them, diba, and ask for help.
Oo. Even the thing that you said, the most scariest part of having lawyer parents, parang benefit din eh. Kasi early, bata ka pa lang, you were trained sa pagiging logical, which is very an integral part or very important talaga character kapag papasok ka na or sa law school or in your professional life as a
Yeah.
lawyer.
And I think for me, nag-benefit ako because when I was in law school, medyo makikita mo dito sa background, meron kami mga law books and we have
Yes.
scra. Yung scra na
Yes.
complete. So pagka nawala sa library, hindi ko na pa photocopy, I can just borrow from them or may mga namana akong books from them. Yung civil code kasi hindi naman masyadong napalitan. So marami akong hand-me-downs from them. And natatanong ko rin sila, especially when I was in law school, na nakakatanong ako ng questions.
Oo, ay yung pagkakaroon ng books na hand-me-down, mahalaga yan. Especially po kapag sa amin sa law school, kapag na-out na yung isang scra, 'di ba? At hindi mo na pa photocopy, baka hindi mo na mabasa yan. Buti ngayon meron ng mga online yung mga cases jurisprudence, you can read it online. But there was a time na sa scra ka lang talaga
Yeah.
book yung scra. So doon lang mo mababasa yung mga cases. You've mentioned you as a new driver, yung bago pa lang yung license mo. So I will relate that to our next question. And this is related to you being a motoring columnist. Tama po ba, Attorney Karen?
Yes. It's one of my hobbies and also passions, like being able to write in motoring.
Yeah, so how did this passion for motoring come from? How did it start?
Okay, interestingly, it started from also another lawyer, my dad. So, mahilig siya sa kotse when I was young. And that time, because ano kami, 3 girls and 1 boy, bunso yung boy. But malayo yung gap sa amin. So at that time, I didn't have a brother. So ako yung laging hinahatak ng dad ko pagka related sa mga hobbies niya na hindi very girly. So, ako yung sinasama niya nung time na yun, nung nahilig siya sa cars, and then he would explain a lot about cars, and then in our house, we had magazines about cars. Hindi pa uso internet noon, di ba? So, I ended up liking cars, and then when I was already old enough to drive, di ba, ang nagsa-start ang student's permit at 16, he got me my first car na yung that time uso po yung sineset up, meaning you modify the car, and then it became like a bonding experience for us because he would go with me to buy the accessories, and then we would modify the car together, and I would be excited about weekends na pupuntahan namin yung mga iba-ibang car accessory shops to pick different types of accessories for the car. Pati mga parts, yeah.
Oo, I'm very interested kasi yung motoring, your passion for motoring is for me a diverse field for a lawyer, eh, 'di ba? So at least now
Yeah.
we know that it came from the influence of your parents, specifically your father. So you came from a family of lawyers, and then your passion for motoring is directly related also sa bonding time nyo ng iyong father. We see the great influence ng parents talaga sa kanilang children. So, I just have a personal question. So, what's your number one consideration in order for you to say that this car is a good ride?
Okay. I think a lot of it has really to do with personal preferences. So,
Mhm.
normally, 'di ba, yung iba parang they think of cars na yung mga brand names talaga that are associated with luxury or with sports cars na parang Ferrari or Rolls-Royce. But for me, it's really about the experience. So, if I ride a car and things are based on the layout, comfortable for me, na parang yung lalagyan ng plug, let's say for a cell phone, it's just right. It's where I would find it convenient. And then, as a lawyer, di ba, we tend to work everywhere. So ako, lalo na nung
Yes.
panahon pa ng traffic, I would bring my laptop and work in the car, eat in the car. So a car that would make it comfortable for me na mag-work tapos merong plug na malapit. May mga cars na merong plug for laptops talaga na hindi yung talaga actual plug na saksakan. Yan, mga ganun. That's something that I would enjoy because you can't really choose as much based on the engine or speed,
Mhm.
especially in the Philippines or Metro Manila because of the traffic. Hindi mo naman din magagamit,
Yes.
right?
Oo nga. Oo,
So
oo.
for me, talaga it's more about the user experience, and then hindi ako masyadong techie in a sense na ayoko yung nakakalito yung layout
Mhm.
ng yung sa front dun sa instrument cluster pagka yung mga hirap na hirap na hanapin yung how to operate the
Yes.
radio or read the all yung mga speedometer and everything. Ayoko masyado ng ganon. So sometimes some cars kasi they become too modern that it's so difficult to understand and use. So ako it's somewhere in the middle of that.
Wow, I'm amazed kasi my expectation was that as motoring columnist, your considerations would be, 'di ba, kung ano yung maganda yung dashboard or how yung information and communication setups nung car. But it's number one, practicality pa din talaga and what suits your needs, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
wow.
Not so much on brand names.
Mhm.
I don't recommend that for people. Yeah.
Yes. Oo nga. So, I'll proceed to my next question kasi nagbe-message na sa akin na napatagal kasi gusto ko talaga yung yung questions on the motoring kasi it's very interesting. I'll proceed to my next question. Gusto man natin o hindi, of course, the pandemic changed our lives and a lot of our personal plans were halted. Pero sa sobrang tagal na din ng pandemic, we learned to adapt na and make the most out of the situation. So what are your recent accomplishments despite the pandemic? And can you please share with us also your current passions and activities that you're working on right now?
Okay, so I would say my biggest accomplishment during the pandemic was graduating from UC Berkeley and earning another degree that's not law related. So that's my fourth
Mhm.
degree. I Kasi back in 2017, I applied for a Fulbright scholarship, and then I was able to get it, and then I applied to schools in the U.S. But this time I did my master's of law kasi several years ago back in 2011 in Harvard Law School. And then, of course, I just kept working. But eventually, kasi nga naging undersecretary ako for the Department of Public Works. And even prior to that, I served as head for external affairs and legal counsel for the Presidential Assistant for Rehabilitation. Yun yung in response to Typhoon Yolanda.
Mhm.
So I ended up like doing project implementation work and also wanting to learn more about sustainability and how do you make sustainable built environments. So I ended up studying again at UC Berkeley noong 2018 to 2020, 2 years. So I was there and inabutan ako ng pandemic in 2020. So we had to shift to online classes by April. And then I graduated, sayang nga lang virtually, by
Mhm.
May. So I think it's a big accomplishment because I think on a personal level, I also had to give up um, one, like earning from a career or work, and then studying again. And I'm sure you'll remember yung mga sleepless nights na nag-aaral.
Yes.
Of course, being in the US, walang maids, walang mga ganun, walang support, walang
Mm.
family. So I had to do everything myself, like laba, luto, and then to go to school, I'd ride my bike or ride the school bus that is provided by the university. And then, naalala ko nga isang beses nagsasampay ako ng mga damit at nagme-memorize for my exams the next evening and the next day, and it was already late evening, and then I saw yung mga plato na kailangan pang hugasan. Parang pagod na pagod na ako, and then I was thinking to myself, ba't ko ba ginagawa sa sarili ko to? But I really think of that as my biggest accomplishment during the pandemic, because it's again, like I earned a degree in Masters of Development as specializing in engineering and business for sustainability, and particularly as a lawyer for several years.
Uh-huh.
That was a big accomplishment because I had to do calculus and a lot of math again, and also some data programming, which is something that, it's not in our comfort level, right? As
Mhm.
lawyers,
Yes.
lalo, ilang years tayo walang math. So, ako lang yung nag-iisang lawyer in our class, and everyone else had an advantage in terms of quantitative skills. And some of my classmates, in terms of coding, data programming, they were ahead.
Um, I think that's courageous because you're enjoying a good career here in the Philippines and then go take another degree and be absent in the Philippines for 2 years and being there without house help nga sa'yo lahat. But what convinced you to really take that scholarship, really take that degree? Kasi kahit papano, it will help also yung iyong plans dito sa Philippines.
Yeah, I agree. So that was like a really, I had to weigh the pros and cons, and even my parents at some point they were saying, parang sayang naman, wag ka na umalis, because they
Yes, yun
said,
ang una
you
sasabihin.
already have enough in terms of a master's of law, and then parang nga sa kanila, it's taking two steps back, lalo na for their personal life as well, because I'm getting older, di ba? I'm in my, by the time nag-aral din ako noon, nasa 30s na ako, and then also that time I had just gotten appointed as undersecretary for the presidential management staff.
Mhm.
So parang nanghihinayang yung my friends then were telling me parang sayang naman. But for me, you can never also bring back that time. One, having a Fulbright scholarship was an accomplishment itself because it's a competitive process. So I was very one grateful to qualify and to even get it among so many, like hundreds of candidates.
Yes,
But
oo nga.
second, you when we try to learn new skills, then it also opens like new perspectives for us. So I wanted to really do more in terms of changing. I don't want to say changing the world, parang ambisyosa naman sobra. But no, seriously, the type of work that you can do, right? Like combining your legal skills with being able to do and think, do projects or programs that will influence the lives of other people positively. Where I don't think would have been possible if not for the additional knowledge I received through this education.
Wow, I admire the hunger for new learnings, di ba? And syempre, it would also lead to your personal development. And I'm more convinced now that you are truly a multi-hyphenate and succeeding in multiple roles and 4 degrees, tama, Attorney Karen?
Yeah.
Apat na degrees. Wow. Now I'm going to another question that I think madami ang makaka-relate dito. For most women in their 30s, actually including me, we got a lot of people asking us na, do you want to get married soon? 'Di ba? Parang sila na yung excited for you, magpakasal ka na, 'di ba? So there's this societal pressure that I think comes up because at your 30 or 30 plus, they think you had all your time to date. It's time to settle down and have your own family, 'di ba? So what's your
Yeah.
advice to give to single women in their 30s who are at the receiving end of this type of pressure to settle down?
I would advise them, don't give into the pressure. So I went through the same thing. I got married at age 31. So kaka 31 ko lang noon when I got
Mhm.
married. And then yeah, less than a month since I turned 31 at that time, but I was already a lawyer. So at that time, sinasabihan na rin ako ng parents ko kasi wala pa silang apo at that time na to settle down. And they were saying, tumatanda ka na, baka hindi ka magkaanak. Di ba? Yun yung lagi
Yes,
natakot tayo.
oo.
So,
Oo.
I would say like just concentrate on what you really want. I mean, just reflect, di ba? Kung the time gusto mo pa talagang tuloy-tuloy sa career, then just do that and don't give into the pressure. But I would say also take advantage of the technology we have now. So we're very lucky. We now live in a time when you can have your eggs harvested and frozen. And I think this applies more to girls. So yung mga nakikinig sa atin na male lawyers, you're lucky that you don't have to give into the pressure because you can get married much older and then still have kids, depending on the age of your wife. But for women, you can have your eggs frozen and then not worry so much about getting older. So even for me, even when I got married at 31, I still kept working. In fact, for those of you who followed the impeachment trial, like when I was part of the trial, kasal ko lang that time. So, hindi kami nakapunta on a honeymoon, and my husband was also very busy at that time because he was taking an executive MBA along with working. And then when we started trying, ang hirap na for some reason for us, we weren't lucky.
Mhm.
Nahirapan kami magka-kids. So, we ended up going to IVF doctors. And then finally, when I had eggs and embryos frozen, mas may peace of mind kami na wala yung pressure to suddenly have kids and worry about the age. And we just got lucky this year. That's why we just had a baby after 7 years, imagine. And I just turned 40 last December. So I'm just telling you all na wag kayo magpa-pressure, and then take advantage of all the technologies we have to give you more time to really postpone settling down if necessary or if that's what you want. And then it will come at the right time.
Wow. So at the end of the day, it's still your personal preference talaga. Wag papadala sa societal pressure. And this is the first time that I've heard of that advice, take advantage of the technology kasi madami na ngang available. You can freeze your eggs for girls, ayan. Although kailangan mag-ipon din kasi I know for a fact, I've checked it, medyo mahal din, 'di ba? So
No.
kailangan pag-ipunan din 'yon. Okay, you have a wide following in Twitter and Instagram, and actually, I'm one of your followers. So, as
I'm
a
going to
public,
look for you, Ange, ha? Para
yes,
ma-follow din kita. I like following, well, fellow lawyers and like yung mga, yeah, like I find your personality interesting than teaching and then having your own show. So yeah, I'll look for you.
yes, thank you very much. Ayun, and I will also look sa mga post mo, Attorney Karen, because I get inspired. That's why when our creative director told us that your feedback was positive doon sa aming invitation, I said 30 minutes dapat kasi we need to feature her because she's one of the lawyers that inspired me and a lot of my friends to be lawyers also and to excel sa ating field. So
Oh,
you're a
thank
public
you.
Yes. So you're a public figure and your stand on the current issues, especially political now, it would be influential sa public, and of course, ayaw man natin o hindi, it would excite comments, negative man o positive from the public. Do you have now a rule in sharing your opinions to the public sa iyong mga socials?
Yeah, I number one rule now for me is really to think very well before you post anything. That's why I've had a rule now na I distinguish as well kung sino yung audience. So for Twitter, I keep it to just formal announcements, no random comments. Parang if you saw Trump, 'di ba, former President Trump, he got into a lot of trouble dahil sa mga Twitter, sa mga tweets
Yes.
niya. But even for me, honestly, I got into trouble like back in 2 years ago or 3 years ago na pala yun, 2018, when I made a comment about there was kakalabas lang ng decision that time against the quo warranto case of against former Chief Justice Sereno, who actually was my professor in law school. But my point at the time was to say something about people should refrain from criticizing the Supreme Court or the Chief Justice as well without reading the decision first. Kasi hindi pa, in-announce pa lang kung ano yung decision but not the decision itself. It wasn't published yet. But yet, ang dami na nagko-comments na
Mhm.
both negative and positive. So, it wasn't taken well. And in fact, ang dami nag-bash on Twitter. And then, nagkaroon ng mga articles about it on online with all
Mhm.
the mainstream media, ABS-CBN, Rappler, I think GMA then. So basically, I felt bad because I was misunderstood for that. And of course, I take responsibility for saying maybe I was not clear, and I thought like baka it sounded arrogant, which is what a lot of the bashers said. So lesson learned, just be careful what you post, and especially for the younger generation, because you can post
Yes.
photos na very innocently, just you having fun. But the problem is whatever is in social media stays, so it might affect your ability to find jobs, because in a lot of companies now it's become standard protocol where they check your social media. So
Mhm.
depending on the type of industry you want to get into, if it's a serious industry, sometimes they take that into consideration pala. They don't like compromising photos, anything that's either too sexy or too scandalous. So yun, just be careful with what you post.
Wow, so you heard it from attorney Karen herself that public figure ka man o kaya you're a private individual, you should be discerning sa kung ano yung pinopost nyo online because what's posted online, it stays there talaga, di ba? Kahit i-take
Mhm.
down yan,
Even if you delete, yeah.
yes. Yes,
Mhm.
andyan pa din yan talaga. Kasi kung very interesting yan, na screenshot na ng ibang tao, yung proliferation yan, napakabilis. Lalo kapag
Yeah.
sa internet. And a good advice to professionals and those applying for jobs, 'di ba? They do background investigation of our socials, Attorney Karen, tama? Most of the
Yeah, oo.
companies
Yeah.
now.
Depending on the company, but some really like exhaustively talaga check that. And tama ka, yung pati yung pag-delete, sometimes pag yung dinelete mo pa, yung pa yung lalong controversial na bakit mo dinelete, di ba? So, it's
Yes.
it's the same thing that happened to me when I deleted my tweet, lalo pa naging issue. And I remember I was being interviewed on ANC by Karen Davila on Head Start for something
Mhm.
else in relation to my post at the time as undersecretary for the presidential management staff. Biglang dulo na tinanong pa sa akin, why did you delete your tweet about yun dun sa same yung comment ko about that co-warrant. Okay, so that's I think yun, that's my advice to everyone, kasi you can mean well, but the fact that you're not interacting with people directly, you can be misunderstood, and then photos pa, it can be interpreted in so many ways. And I'm talking about people who post on Facebook, Instagram, and now pati TikTok, 'di ba, mga videos. So
Yes.
just be careful with what you
Yeah,
post.
although I haven't tried TikTok yet, pero ano,
Ako
mukhang
din.
madami. Wow, haven't
Mga
tried.
millennials matanda
Oo
na
nga
yata
eh.
masyado.
Parang
Yeah.
yun ata yung lagi nilang ginagrab or yung talagang na-reproduce or nagpo-proliferate kasi interesting yung sa TikTok. Now, Attorney Karen, let's go doon sa ating kilala to sa Philippines as Fast Talk, pero ang ating creative director gusto niyang tawaging rapid questions daw. So, just quick answers, no explanations. Okay? Are you ready, Attorney Karen?
Yes, very ready.
Ayun. So, would you rather have a completely automated home or a self-driving car?
Self-driving car. You can sleep in traffic.
Wow. What weird food combinations do you really enjoy?
Okay, I used to eat this a lot. Pancakes with peanut butter and cheese whiz. As in together. Yeah. You try it.
I think it's not weird, but it sounds delicious for me, huh? What's the most expensive thing that you've broken?
A watch. Yeah.
Oh my god. But give us one expensive thing that you've recently bought.
Um, ay nako, pong baby na lahat eh. Car seat. Kasi very important for safety. Yeah. A car seat for the baby, ha? Yeah.
Uh-huh. Wow,
Mm-mm.
I hear that a lot. Pag tinatanong ko din yung aking mga friends na mothers na ngayon, anong binili mo, huli mong binili para sa sarili mo? Para kay baby. And that makes them
Oo.
happy. So sabi nila, para sa akin din yun. Kasi masaya ako
Yeah.
nung binilan ko yung aking anak. Okay, would you rather enforce world peace, pinag-uusapan natin kanina, or poverty for good?
Poverty for good. Yeah. Feeling ko if you solve that, magkaka-world
Mhm.
peace eventually. Yeah.
Yes, tama. When do you feel the most in control?
Let's see. Not when I'm sleeping. When I'm exercising, because you can decide how fast or how slow you can go.
Yes. And also in
Mm.
driving, right? You
That's
can, pwede din,
ano ba't
oo.
yung ibang cars hindi mo makontrol eh.
Yun lang, oo
Yeah,
nga.
yeah.
Spontaneity or stability?
Stability, that's my personality. Yeah.
Would you rather sleep in a tent or rent a cabin?
Cabin. Kasi kailangan ko mag-shower. That's important for me. I don't like yung skipping yung ligo. Yeah.
Yes. And would you, ang hirap naman nitong tanong na to, would you rather go a year with no eyelashes or go a year with no eyebrows?
Ah, no eyelashes. Parang weird yung walang eyebrow.
Kaya nga eh, di ba? Although we can always
Imagine.
paint it, di ba?
Ay,
Pero,
parang hindi pantay.
oo
Mas
nga,
mahirap.
ako din. Oo
Mm.
nga, I'd rather have my eyebrows nga din. What's quickly becoming obsolete?
Landline phones, right? Same
Yes,
function
yes,
na with cell phones eh. Yeah.
yes. What's your secret talent?
I can paint. As in painting ha. Pero I wouldn't say na super talented, but I can do paintings. Yeah. Or I do paintings.
I'm violating the rule of this game, but what types of painting are you usually do?
Canvas with oil na kailangan pa ng
Mm.
turpentine to make it
Oo.
like more applicable. Yeah. I'll
Wow.
I'll share with you one of these days, like yung what I painted for my husband. This was before we
Yes,
got
yes,
married.
please. I'll
Yeah.
antabayanan ko yan sa iyong socials. What values, ito na, madaming makikinig dito. What values of the next president are most important to you?
I guess pag one word, professionalism, because that's a heavy word that implies na competent, like qualified in a sense na educated, because I mean, let's face it, diba, you really at least need to learn what how to run a country. And then professionalism also means na you can be diplomatic when needed, but also you have to care. So it's like really having someone taking on the job professionally. Yeah.
Wow. What social stigma does society need to get over?
I would say, and particularly applicable to the Philippines, yung classes. Yung, di ba? We're very, we tend to classify people in our heads as class A, class B, class C, D, E. Even up to now, I see that sa elections, like, pag naglalabas silang data sa voters,
Mhm.
this is class A, B, C, D, E. I would take that out. Like, we're all equal in the sense, right? Na we're all Filipinos that are gonna exercising our right to vote, or even other things. Like, we're all Filipinos, so when we're dealing with a pandemic, we should think of people as human beings, not based on classes.
Yes, I agree also. Would you rather give up social media or eat the same dinner for the rest of your life?
Nako, I love food. Social media. Yeah, definitely. I'll give it up.
But just in case you eat the same dinner for the rest of your life, anong putahe to, Attorney Karen?
Ang hirap niya na. I would say safe answer. Ano ba hindi masyado nakakasawa? Chicken, anything with chicken, and then with um, quinoa siguro para hindi masyado, parang rice siya pero hindi
Oo, oo.
nakakaumay. So, I don't know. Sobrang random ko lang naisip yun.
Tsaka ang hirap nga kung pagkain, ano? Kasi that's the happiness, most of our happiness, everyday life, nasa pagkain eh, di ba?
Yep, I
Would
agree.
you rather run a country or a business?
Business. Yeah. Because you can really control, I mean, everything, and then still have a positive impact in society.
Yes. And what's the smartest thing you've ever done?
Have a baby. I know it sounds so cliche, pero grabe. I mean, I've done so much na in my life. Like, I've studied so much, I've worked so much, but then, now naiintindihan ko na as a parent why people keep saying na it's really worth it. Mapupuyat kayo sobra-sobra, pero it's really worth it. So, oo. So, for those of you na feeling yung matanda na kayo, no, it's never too late. And if that time comes, it's worth it.
Yes, have a baby, but i-relate natin dun sa sinabi ni Attorney Karen earlier, but at your own pace and it's your
Yeah.
personal preference, but have a baby because it makes you happy. I've heard that a
Yeah.
lot also. Oh, I've heard that a lot.
Oo. Or for
And
me,
I
smart was
agree.
because it came at the right time now. But for other people, it's not just having a baby. What I would
Mhm.
say is do something that matters to your personal life. Whether it's building a family, meaning as a couple. Na, I have friends from, lalo na yung my friends from Berkeley, very vocal na, I don't want to have kids.
Mhm.
Kahit married sila. That's their personal decision. So, meron
Yes.
naman ako friends na gusto magka-kid pero ayaw mag-asawa. So again, just when I say smartest decision, it's like deciding on something that enriches your personal life.
So, what advice to other professionals who want to pursue their passion also, like what you're doing?
My advice would be to get to know yourself. Because a lot of us, we tend to decide reactively to things that stimulate us, meaning whether it's the pressure from other people. That's why you asked me a good question about pressure on settling down, or it's a reaction to what we see on social media or around us na parang, oy, buti pa sila, they have this career, or they have these material things, ang yaman-yaman niya, or maganda siya, or sexy, or whatever. And then we strive for something. And then sometimes when we achieve it, we realize na it doesn't make us happy. And what we fail to do is really understand ourselves, like who we really are, what's our authentic self. So that's something that we need to do, and we can do that by stepping back, so that when we decide and discover na sino ba talaga ako, ano ba talaga yung personality ko, then you can choose for yourself the other things that will impact you in the everyday. That means what career or job will you choose? Who do you decide to settle down with? Or maybe you're the type who doesn't even want to settle down. What type of food that you want to eat? Or do you want to travel or not? Kasi otherwise, we're just like living other people's lives. If we compare ourselves to other people and then try to imitate their goals, then you're never going to be happy that way.
Oo, you can have models, 'di ba? But at the end of the day, be true to yourself. Ano ba talaga yung passion mo. Thank you, Attorney Karen, for that wonderful advice sa ating mga professionals who want to pursue also their passion or nagko-consider kung ano nga bang profession yung kanilang papasukin. Please invite our legalites to your socials or kung may gusto kang batiin, Attorney Karen, please do so.
Yeah. Well, the youngest listener we probably have now is my son. So his name is Evan Keith McBride. He's 1 month old. So I'm greeting him and saying, "Hi, mommy's gonna see you soon." Dependent siya sa akin for his milk.
Oo.
But I I'm also I'm inviting everyone to interact with me through my social media. On Instagram, it's at attorney Karen Jimeno. So ATTY Karen Jimeno, one word. Or on my Twitter, it's at attorney Karen Jimeno, then same name. And Facebook, like my Facebook kasi yung settings hindi ko pa nababago since before. It's like just my friends. There was someone who put up a fan page back during the impeachment trial pa, but I know that they still, I think sometimes get my personal post and put it there. So yeah, and LinkedIn for professional. I just started that recently because for a long time I didn't have LinkedIn. So
Mm.
I hope to see you all in the same way that Carlo and Carlo is works with Ange on this show. They reached out to me through Instagram. I hope to interact with all of you, and like I really enjoyed being here, Ange. So thank you for having me, and I'll continue to stay in touch with you.
Yes, thank you very much. Sabi ko nga kanina, it's our privilege really. And we're very grateful for spending your time with us despite your very busy schedule. So paalala lang po, no, yung fan page ni Attorney Karen sa Facebook, that's not hers. Ang talagang personal account niya would be the Instagram and the Twitter. Kasi baka akalain, I've seen it kasi and I thought the contents were really good also. Although ano naman, naka close and open ay naka quote naman. So, but I thought it was you, 'di ba? So, I just want to put it out there na hindi kay Attorney Karen yung fan
Yeah.
page, no?
Pero the person who put it up, na
Mhm.
kinausap niya ako and I ended up meeting her. So it's managed professionally and we have an
Oh,
understanding
okay.
na sige, grab mo na whatever you want. So And sometimes yun nga, I try my best to react then to the people there. So yeah, feel free to follow
Okay,
that
okay.
as well. Yeah.
Okay, alright. So pwede din doon kayo makipag-interact sa ibang tao na gustong lumapit or mag-reach out kay Attorney Karen. So again, thank you very much, Attorney Karen. Ayun, for
Thank you.
sponsorships and collaborations, if you want to feature your firm or your brands, please email boulderchannelph@gmail.com and follow our socials at the Boulder Channel. And don't miss Negocentials with Ellen Samano next week, 6 p.m. And stay tuned for Curve TV at 7:30 p.m. with Architect Patch after Legal Life. So again, my name is Ange Medina, and you've just watched another episode of Legal Life, the boldest legal magazine show online dito lang sa The Boulder Channel. Remember, bawat araw walang bibitaw. Stay safe, everyone!